Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you are watching Boyd News. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some information coming out from the Gaza Strip. I want to do an update on the war down there between Hamas and Israel with you. And we're primarily going to be talking about the Palestinian people, the civilian population in the Gaza Strip. And we're also going to be talking about Antony Blinken. He is the U.S. Secretary of State. And he has recently come out, just as of yesterday, he was speaking to two top Israeli officials, and he mentioned to them that the civilian death toll in the Gaza Strip right now is remaining unacceptably high. So, what he's talking about here is over the last couple weeks, we've been seeing lots of very deadly attacks in the Gaza Strip. And it's very interesting, too, because this information is not talked about as much anymore. Definitely right now, Ukraine is kind of receiving the spotlight when it comes to conflicts and wars. So Ukraine is getting all the attention right now, and yet at the same time, the Gaza Strip is being bombed daily by Israel right now, and Israel has been just completely relentless and obviously trying to go after Hamas targets, but at the same time, we're having dozens of people that are killed in major airstrikes across the Gaza Strip. We also know that the IDF has been operating on the northern side in Gaza City. They just kind of pulled out there a few days ago. And then also they're starting to work throughout Khan Yunis again. Okay, so this war is basically spreading back open again, where Israel is starting to operate all throughout the Gaza Strip. Whereas just not too long ago, not even a month ago, most of the fighting was happening down in Rafah, which was the southern portion of the Gaza Strip. So I haven't heard much information coming out from Rafah. I would think that operations are probably fairly limited down there, considering we're not hearing a lot of information coming out from there. But there is lots of conflict going on in the Khan Yunis area and also in the northern side of Gaza right now. So that's what Blinken is talking about. He's been stating here that the Gaza death toll is extremely high. And my question here is, I understand that Israel needs to go after Hamas and, they need to eliminate them. That's their goal right now. But at the same time, if we're having so many innocent people that are being unfortunately killed in this crisis over here during this war, at what point does the U.S. say, enough is enough? We have to either cut off supplies, cut off funding to Israel or whatever to try to end this war? Does this just go on forever, or what is going to happen here? Because we're getting close to a year, okay? Just a few more months away, and it's going to be almost a year in this conflict. So that's kind of my question with what's going on here. But we're going to talk some more about this today. I've got a couple things that I want to show you regarding this war if you weren't aware of this. But let me show you this here first. We'll just kind of talk about this for a moment. This is on Reuters, and it says U.S. to resume shipping 500-pound bombs to Israel, U.S. official says. So this was just like 6 days ago, okay, not even a week ago, that this information came out. And these 500-pound bombs were going to be released to Israel. They were withheld from Israel for a short time, maybe for a few months, something like that. And at the same time, there was 2,000-pound bombs that were being withheld. And I talked about this whenever they decided to resume shipping these back to Israel. So now Israel's getting these 500-pound bombs again, okay? And these are still very powerful bombs, okay? 500-pound bomb being dropped in an area that has a large percentage of civilian population in this region of where this bomb is detonated at, it will definitely cause mass casualties and damage. So although these might seem like a small bomb compared to a 2,000-pound bomb, they're still very powerful. So the U.S. continued shipping these to them, and obviously there was the threat of war with Hezbollah also. So I think that's the main reason why they released them. But right now we know that Israel is just relentlessly bombing the Gaza Strip, and that's why we're having such high death tolls right now. So yeah, it's just very terrible what's happening. But this is information also that just came out just this morning. This is from the Times of Israel, okay? And this is their alert page that they have here on X. And they've got a live update. It says IDF says airstrikes hit Hamas cell at UN school. Islamic Jihad commander. Palestinians say 22 killed, including civilians. Okay, so we've got another 22, looks like, that have been killed. This just came out today, as you can see right here, July 16th, 2024 at 7 a.m. Okay, so very early at the time that I'm even recording this. So just very horrible news what we're hearing over here. And again, we're starting to see lots and lots of mass casualties. the casualty count was starting to drop and kind of slow down for a while. I feel like once we hit like 36, 35,000 people being killed in the Gaza Strip, it kind of slowed down for a little bit. Now it's starting to speed up. I think we were at like 38,000, if not much further, of actual confirmed deaths here in the Gaza Strip. So it's just, I wanted to report this because it's not being talked about much right now. And now Antony Blinken is kind of being forced to come out and admit this, and at the same time put pressure on the Israeli government and say, hey, you know, we're having serious concerns here that there's way too many people that are being unfortunately killed in this conflict. So it's something to definitely note, and that's why I wanted to share this with you guys. But we're going to go over this now here on All Arabia News. It says U.S. tells Israeli officials Gaza death toll is unacceptably high. Okay, and it says here, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken told two top Israeli officials Monday of the unacceptably high civilian casualties in Israel's bombardment of the besieged Gaza Strip, his spokesman said. The Israeli military has launched several deadly attacks in recent days, including on a refugee camp and multiple UN-run schools where civilians were sheltering. In response, Hamas reportedly said it was pulling out of ceasefire negotiations, causing prospects for a truce and hostage release deal to dwindle further. So I did hear about that. So it looks like we're back to square one again when it comes to any kind of a ceasefire negotiation. And I don't think they're going to be able to come to any kind of agreement again. I was seeing some unconfirmed information as well that Hamas was saying that they were going to move towards like a full-scale war with Israel, considering that they weren't going to be able to get any kind of a hostage deal. And then we also had reports just a few days ago that this will actually talk about here of Mohammed Daif, who was a top Hamas commander that was targeted in a strike at the Al-Mawasi camp. And supposedly they're still trying to find out whether he was actually eliminated or not. We don't have that information yet, but we'll talk about that here. So it says, Blinken received two influential Israeli officials, Strategic Affairs Minister Ron Dermer and National Security Advisor Zaki Hanegbi, to express our serious concern about the recent civilian casualties in Gaza. Casualties still remain unacceptably high. We continue to see far too many civilians killed in this conflict, State Department spokesman Matthew Miller told reporters. On Saturday, Israeli strikes killed more than 90 people in the Al-Mawasi camp near Khan Yunis, the health ministry in Gaza said. That was the report that I was just discussing you right there with Mohammed Daif. AFP reported sirens wailing and women screaming as children were pulled bloody and unmoving from the wreckage in Al-Mawasi, which Israel had declared a safe zone. The Israeli military said the bombardment targeted two people, the head of Hamas military wing, Mohammed Daif, and his close associate, Rafa Salama, who the army said was killed. So supposedly they were able to confirm that his associate was eliminated, but Mohammed Daif, they're still trying to find out whether he was actually hit in this strike. So we don't have that information yet, but again, whenever this attack happened on Mohammed Daif, they were trying to target him. And apparently the IDF, from what I understand, was watching this area for a very long time, and they were hoping he was going to visit this compound that they were keeping an eye on, and they supposedly were able to get confirmation that he was there. That's why they dropped this bomb and tried to take him out, but it was in the middle of a camp, the Al-Mawasi camp right here, okay? This has been designated by Israel months ago for the the Palestinian population, the civilians there, to head to this area, and they were declaring it as a safe zone. Yet at the same time, they're dropping bombs right in the middle of this camp. And obviously, I understand they're going after these Hamas military commanders, but there's got to be another way for them to go after him without just simply dropping a 500-pound bomb and destroying this area, and then obviously having splash damage and injuring other people. So that's what U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is talking about here. So it says, a Hamas official said Sunday that Daif was well and directly overseeing operations, though doubts remained. The two Israeli officials told Blinken that they do not have certainty yet about Daif's fate. According to Miller, the bilateral discussions also focused on a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, humanitarian aid for Gaza, and post-war plans, he said. The visit comes several few days before Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to address the U.S. Congress on July 24th. We continue to hear from Israel directly that they want to reach a ceasefire, and they are committed to the proposal that they put forward, Miller said. The United States has strongly defended Israel since the October 7th attacks by Hamas, in which 1,195 people were killed. according to an AFP tally based on Israeli figures during the attack. The militants also seized 251 hostages, 116 of whom are still in Gaza, including 42 the military says are dead. Israel's military offensive on Gaza has killed at least 38,584 people, mostly women and children, according to the data provided by the Gaza Health Ministry. U.S. President Joe Biden has been under mounting political pressure over the plight of Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. We are incredibly troubled by the ongoing deaths of Palestinians in Gaza, Miller said Monday when asked about U.S. weapons provided to Israel. So see, they've got reporters asking the Biden administration, how do you feel about sending all these weapons over here? And then Israel's dropping these bombs all over the Gaza Strip. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the U.S. is liable for this too, because they're giving these bombs to Israel. Israel's dropping them in the Gaza Strip. And we're having, dozens, if not hundreds of innocent people that are being killed and their lives are being taken in this conflict by these bombs being dropped. So I don't know if these bombs are the most effective way to go about this. I mean, obviously, Israel has a ground operation going on there as well, but it looks to me like that only does so much. That obviously they feel like they need to be dropping bombs everywhere, but at the same time, again, it makes it worse here that the Gaza Strip is not a very big piece of land. Okay, it's actually very small, but it's densely packed. Okay, there's just so many people in a small area, and there's really nowhere for them to go. Okay, they're stuck here in the middle of this, and they don't have anywhere safe to be. Yet these bombs are dropping all over the place. So that's something that U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is concerned about, apparently. And again, my question is that at what point does the U.S. say, hey, we can't be sending these weapons to Israel anymore. We're gonna have to cut off all these bomb shipments to Israel, and maybe that will kind of force them to end this war. I'm not sure, but obviously Israel is having a very hard time working with Hamas, and vice versa. Hamas can't come to any sort of agreement with Israel as well. So if they can't come to any sort of agreement, then this war is going to drag on potentially for years. And I've talked about that for several weeks now, that multiple Israeli government officials and also members of the IDF, top commanders as well, stating that this war could drag on for anywhere from 2 to 5 years or maybe longer. So if they don't cut off shipments to Israel at some point, then we're just going to continue to keep seeing the same thing down here. And Israel's been bombing schools and just all kinds of camps and everything. So at some point, this has got to come to an end. And I'm really surprised as well that we haven't been seeing more responses from like Hezbollah and like the Yemen Houthis, things like that. They have been launching some strikes and attacking ships, like the Houthis been doing that lately, but it's nothing extreme based on what we're seeing happening in the Gaza Strip, and usually they react off that. So that's why I'm saying this information is definitely not being widely talked about as much anymore, and I think as well the U.S. is definitely concerned about this. So let me know what you think down below. Just wanted to share this update and do a little bit of talk on the Gaza Strip and let you know what's going down here, because we haven't really talked about it much lately. But that's what's happening, okay? We're having lots of innocent people, again, being killed in this conflict, and the war is definitely ramping up down there, and it's getting much worse than it has been over the last few months. So share your thoughts, concerns, and opinions down in the comment section. That's going to be it for this update today. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care, and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.